Welcome back to another video. It is a new training week. It is week 1 of my new training block. It is Tuesday, the 3rd of February. If you can't tell from all the layers, it is very cold out in the home gym. It is week 1, day 1 of my British bench press comp block. So we are running the same peak for bench this block that we did for British Nationals back in December, just because my bench showed up really well. I ended up benching 120 on the platform for a nice 2.5 PB. So we're just going to essentially rinse and repeat that for bench this block, squats and deadlifts, ending the block on a slightly lower RPE, so we're not pushing them too crazy hard this block. For anyone that does not know, I'm currently in a bit of a crazy deficit to make weight for British bench because I got a little bit too heavy over the December period and started the year sitting way too far above my weight category to have signed up to a meet this early in the year. But my goal this year was always to cut down and sit in my weight class for a little while. So this has kind of just kicked me up the arse and made me just get going towards that goal. So I'm not actually complaining, and generally I've actually felt really good considering the deficit I've been in. A little bit of a nutrition update. So I had my check-in with my coach on Monday. Body weight is still like a week ahead of schedule in terms of the planned deficit and the planned cut. So food this week, we haven't actually increased, but if my average comes down a little bit more this week, then we will increase my food. And essentially, rather than trying to diet down as close to the class as we can and just sticking on these calories while I feel good, we're going to essentially see if we can boost calories slightly over the next few weeks, keep me losing weight, and then essentially do a gut cut at the end, which will probably have to happen regardless. There's no way I'm going to get to actually be 84 at the end of the next 3.5 weeks. The plan is then if I'm eating more calories, there'll be more gut weight to lose, essentially. So current calories are still 1,700 on weekdays and then 1,900 on the weekends. But if my body weight average is below 86.7, which it does sit a little bit higher at the start of the week. So the last 2 days I've been more like 87. I think I was 86.8 yesterday, 87 on the dot today. But over the next few days, it will slowly start to creep down again. That is literally my trend every single week. And then on the weekend, I typically drop down about 0.5 kilo to 1 kilo just because my sleep and stuff is better. So if my average does get below, like I think it's 86.7, then if my body weight creeps below 86.7, then I'll be increasing calories to 1,900 every day, which is still obviously pretty low calories for an 84 kilo powerlifter, but is what it is. Got to do what got to do. I'm feeling really good on these calories though, to be fair. The only thing I'm struggling with like today, my appetite is pretty high and I've had quite a lot of cravings and stuff today, but all I've just done is eat my food a little bit earlier in the day. Once I've done this session in here, I'm going to be going to the commercial gym down the road and doing my accessories anyway and some cardio. So that's going to take up the next couple of hours of my day. Then I'll just come back and I have a very small meal left to have when I get back, just like a 300 calorie meal. So I've basically just front loaded most of my food to just suppress my appetite a little bit, kind of fill myself up ahead of time. And that seems to have done the trick, to be fair. And then like going on a long dog walk and stuff as well, just to kind of take my mind off of food. Because the problem is when you work from home, I'm an online coach for anyone that doesn't know, sitting at home at my desk, food is readily available. Food is on my mind, especially when I'm on this low calories. So it's good to just get out of the house for about an hour and do a dog walk. So yeah, anyway, this training block. So priority is obviously bench. I am less than 4 weeks out from British bench. The goal is to win, just kind of, we're not going to push crazy heavy on the platform. I will likely load my opener at a weight that is most likely going to allow me to win, and then we'll just kind of see what we need to do from there. But there is one other girl that is quite close to me on nominations, so I'll just have to kind of keep an eye on what she does. I will also be handling myself, something that I hadn't really fully thought about in a lot of detail. So British Powerlifting now have this coaching license in place, which I have. I am a coach. I have got all the checks and stuff that I need to have to do it. I've done like what I need to be able to get that coaching license. Obviously, my own coach also has it, but he won't be at British Bench, which is absolutely fine. And I actually said to my boyfriend the other day, I was like, oh, you could just come and handle me. Like, it's bench only, 3 attempts. You can learn a little bit about handling, whatever. And then he was like, I don't have a coaching license. And it was when he said that, I kind of deeped it a little bit more and was like, oh, wait, no. This having to have qualifications and stuff for a coaching license is actually not good. Like, I've completely changed my mind now. I like the professionalism of it. And I think when it comes to working with juniors, being in a warm-up room with juniors, sub-juniors in particular, it is probably important to have some level of safeguarding in place, right? Like, obviously, that should go without saying. But you're also limiting people's accessibility to the sport. Like, I'm now going to have to go and handle myself because I'm not paying a coach to handle me at British Bench, which, granted, I don't need someone to do that. Like, I'm very competent. I know what I'm doing. I am a coach. Yeah, it's fine, whatever. But a lot of people wouldn't feel comfortable being able to, like, doing that. Like, I know most people at a meet. Like, I know the volunteers. I know the people that are around. I know the hosts. Like, I know the competitors. That's not a problem for me, and I'll know the other coaches in the warm-up room because I've been around a long time. But what if this was like my first ever national meet, like my second comp ever, and I couldn't have my boyfriend or my partner come and handle me just to make me feel a bit more supported? Like, I don't actually think I agree with this coaching license the more I think about it. And like when I was even just watching Sheffield at the weekend, like Meg Scanlon's husband handles her a lot of the time. And I'm like, you're literally just eliminating that possibility of like, he's learned the sport through, like with her, and they've grown in the sport together, and he's learned to handle her really well through being able to be there with her at meets, right? And he's there for her training and stuff too a lot of the time, I think, as well. Yeah, I don't like that people have to do, like, my boyfriend could get a coaching license this year, but he would have to do like 4 hours of courses, which he's obviously not going to do. But also, not even just that example, next year they're bringing in that you have to have done some level of qualification, like a British Powerlifting IPF specific qualification to be able to get the coaching license, which I'm just going to say it, guys. I'm all for professionalism. That feels more like a money grab to me. And don't get me wrong, I don't know exactly how it's going to be implemented yet. I've heard kind of rumours from different people, seen what's been officially said and stuff, but like I have qualifications outside of British powerlifting. Like I've got my level 3 PT, I've got my level 5 sports nutrition. I've never paid to do the British powerlifting qualifications because I don't need to, and I've already learned what I need to learn, and then I've gone away and coached in practice for years. Like I have the legit qualification needed to be able to train people. And yeah, I'm not a fan of it. I wasn't actually going to talk about that in this video, but it just popped in my head as I was speaking. And I've been thinking about it more and more since my boyfriend just made the comment of, I can't handle you at a British bench. And I was like, yeah, no, you actually can't. Like, that's not good. Like, not that I don't particularly need him / want him to handle me. Like, he doesn't really like powerlifting that much. But like, just the principle of it has actually bothered me more than I thought it would. So anyway, that's my thoughts on that. Let's talk through the game plan. So I am incredibly disappointed by my performance in my last session of the last block. So in the last video, it was my last heavy session of my previous block that I've just finished. Absolutely not happy with it at all. Squats showed up fine, not really complaining about how squats were, especially because I didn't feel great going into them. Bench, I died, like literally just fatigued so quickly, and then deadlifts were appalling. It's annoying because the rest of the block I felt great, and actually in terms of the deficit having an effect, I did lose 4 kilograms in the last block, like the last 4-week block. I literally started it 4 kilograms heavier than I ended it, which obviously I'm not delusional, like it will have had an impact, but I felt a lot better on the final weekend of that block than I did any other session of that block. And it still did not go to plan, like at all. And my goals, other than bench single, my goals were not that aggressive. So I'm really disappointed with how that went, basically. And I do hold myself to a really high standard in terms of my strength. And I do expect a lot from myself. And in terms of progress, like my total last year really does upset me when I think about it, because I am capable of way more than what I put up last year and the year before. And it's almost like my progress has just stalled. I know it hasn't actually. And I know that every single session adds up and it will come together eventually, and it will hopefully come together this year. But it is incredibly frustrating to me that I just can't seem to show up, or I didn't show up at the weekend. So basically just going to make sure to dial in everything that isn't dialed in. And don't get me wrong, my life is already pretty dialed in. Like obviously this deficit is kind of out of my control because it's fully in my control. This deficit is going to have some level of impact on my recovery, but I have been really making an effort to manage my stress levels better, manage my sleep better and stuff as much as I possibly can, obviously within life. But I've just been thinking about it. I was like, no, I need to do more. I need to do everything in my power to progress and to prove what I'm capable of. So I have decided I'm not really going to post much of my training on Instagram. I'm still going to do my YouTube videos because I find this really good way to rationalize my training and talk through things. I think because I train in my garage, I don't get that drive to the gym to think about my plan, think about what I'm going to do, mentally prepare to go and train. For me, sitting and talking to the camera is kind of like that mental preparation before I train. Like I came in here tonight, I moved some stuff around because I need to organize the gym. I need to hoover in here as well. It's disgusting in here. But I started just putting stuff in its place when I came in, having a little bit of a general tidy, moved the bar where I needed to start benching. And now I've sat down to film this, and this is like me preparing for my session, okay? I'm still going to do this, and I'm still going to talk about things on YouTube because again, it helps with my headspace as well. Like when I recap a session at the end, it helps me really, like even at the weekend when my session went really badly, sitting and talking it through to the camera really helped me mentally. Whereas if I hadn't done that, I'd have just gone indoors and either just complained to my boyfriend for the next like 3 days straight, complained to my coach for the next 3 days straight, or just cried. Like it would have been one of those options, possibly a combination of all three. Whereas instead, I actually sat and thought about it logically, and I was like, right, what takeaways can I get from this? And then obviously fed them back to the camera. So I will be documenting stuff on here, but basically I'm going to go a little bit quieter on Instagram in terms of my training. I'm sure I will still post some of it. But I just think for me, I want to just be in my own little bubble a little bit more and almost hibernate. Not that there's any pressure, and I don't really feel pressure from posting training. Like, I'm very transparent with what I'm doing, which is why I'm still going to post on here. But I just think, let's just basically head down and work for the next however long. My next full power competition will most likely be All England's on the 9th/10th of May, I think that is. So the plan is going to be do British bench at the end of this month, hopefully get selected for some Team GB outing, whether that's Euros or Worlds. If I had to pick between the two, I would pick to do Worlds, because obviously it's like that little bit more prestigious. But it depends, might be able to do both. We'll just kind of wait and see financially how it looks, because we've got other stuff we need to pay for this year, like with our house and things. But I'm thinking British bench, and then it's going to be like roughly, I've already spoken to my nutrition coach, roughly a month of just maintaining this like 85 to 86 kilo range that I'll be sitting in by then, just to kind of take the pressure off of just being in constant deficit. And then we'll just start the deficit again, but not as aggressive, into the English second weekend of May. And then who knows from there? I don't actually know the timings of the internationals that I'm looking at potentially doing. I have looked like a while ago, but I've completely forgotten. But I'm literally going to take it one kind of thing at a time. But I need to put up something big at the English just to prove a point to myself. If I go in and total in the 490s again, I'm literally just going to lose it. Like, I am capable of like a 520 plus total. I just haven't put it together. And I think saying that out loud makes me feel a bit conscious of like, I don't want people to think I'm like one of those delusional people that's just adding random numbers to their total. Like, I know when I think of the numbers that I am capable of, I know as a minimum I should be able to do that. Like, actually I should be able to do a lot more than that. And I've never watched another female 84 lifter lift anything and gone, oh, I'll never be able to do that. Like, I don't have that mental barrier. I see people lifting heavy and I think, yeah, I'm going to do that and more. And that's the way I've always been. But I think I've recently lost a little bit of confidence when it comes to heavier loads, which is definitely coming back, especially on squats. I think my end of block squats at the weekend really proved that to me as well. Like, normally when I squat at home, I'm really nervous and reserved in case I fail, obviously being at home, just on a combo rack, not overly safe. I do get my boyfriend to come out and spot me when things are heavier, but I'm then worried about him getting hurt as well and not knowing what to do, because I've not actually failed with him spotting me before, and he's not a power lifter. Like, he knows kind of what to do, and we obviously I explained to him what I would want him to do. But like, I'm getting a lot more, like, he's reassured me that he is absolutely confident if I do fail that he'll be able to make sure that obviously like we're all safe. And that definitely did help. Like, we had a genuinely serious conversation about it a couple of blocks ago when I was really getting in my head. But I do think I'm getting past that mental barrier now of being scared, and hopefully that means I'll be able to squat heavier at home, basically, long story short. But yeah, I'm really going to knuckle down now. And I say that as if I'm not already knuckling down, but everything I can do to make myself a better athlete, I am focusing on. Like, I've rearranged how I'm going to split up my work week, like with my coaching. I'm still going to work the same days, and like my clients won't notice a difference at all. But like, in terms of like programming blocks and stuff, I'm going to rearrange when I do them, because at the moment I'm having such a long, like 6 to 8 hour work day on a Sunday, and then I train after, and I think that's impacting my primary day. Whereas actually, if I move a lot of that to a Thursday, Friday, which are quieter days for me anyway, I can then have a 2, 3, maybe 4 hour work day on a Sunday, and then train and still have an evening. Because at the moment I'm literally training until like 8:30, 9 p.m. on a Sunday, and then I'm just going in, eating, showering and going to bed, which isn't how I should be spending my Sunday, because Mondays are also a long work day for me. So I'm going to rearrange stuff like that. I am going to have non-negotiable. I will be getting in bed at least 9 hours before my alarm goes off the next morning every single night. So like tonight, my alarm tomorrow will be going off by 6:15. I will be in bed by 9:15 tonight, like non-negotiable, absolutely. And then on the days where most days I tend to get up closer to like 7 anyway, so I'll just make sure that I'm in bed by 10 at the latest. I feel best on 9 hours of sleep, but I'm aware that's not necessarily going to be doable every single night. So I'm probably going to actually just make sure that I'm in bed for 9 hours and start switching off, obviously, at that time. But usually I do fall to sleep like pretty quickly, so that shouldn't be a problem. My sleep quality has been improving as well. I'm really focusing on nose breathing, which something I spoke to my nutrition coach about. We were talking about like sleep and basically just, I won't go into it on here, but really going to try and focus on nose breathing more, because I think I have sinus issues that I think then makes my sleep not as deep. So I'm going to really focus on that. Nutrition wise, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. Nutrition is incredibly dialed in right now. I'm going to keep going with that. Going to keep going with my steps. Cardio is also being added in like religiously from this week onwards. 2 20-minute steady state sessions as an absolute minimum. Probably going to aim to do 3 and do a Friday as well, providing time-wise it works. I have also got a massage in this Friday at 9 p.m. though, so I'll do my training session before. I'm probably just going a long dog walk rather than cardio, come back and then go have that. But I'm also going to be stretching my glute hamstring issue out more because it's getting worse and worse, and I am getting stressed that it's going to impact training if it's not already. I'm just in denial about it. So I am going to make sure that after every single dog walk, I come in and I stretch it for at least a few minutes, and then full body mobility, like deep stretching after my cardio every single time I go and do it. So those are non-negotiables for me at this point, and I just need to remember that I am an athlete and I need to put that side of things at the forefront. Like obviously work, coaching, business comes first, but equally the more successful I am with that, the more time I can allocate to training because I have more control over my schedule. So I need to remember that as well. Anyway, that is a lot of ramble, but we are on to a new block, new start. This block is going to go perfectly to plan. I'm going to win British Bench at the end of it. My deficit is not going to impact me. I don't actually have that much more to lose, literally like 1.5 kilos at most, like at most. Really, we're looking at about 1 kilo because actually my body weight's been sitting like high 86s and we want to cut from about high 85s. So we are on track, all will be fine, and this is going to be the best block I've had in ages and I can feel it. I'm going to make it happen.
Down by the schoolyard where the crowd shape Brianna's smile so smooth. They talk about the spring break